Imagine leading 108 laps. Imagine winning a stage. Imagine having so much control over a race that your own crew chief starts thinking about the trophy speech. Now imagine watching all of it disappear in the space of one pit stop. Not because you made a mistake, but because somebody else made a better bet. And the man who took it from him wasn't a stranger. He wasn't a rival from another team. He was sitting in the same shop, wearing the same colors, eating lunch in the same building. By the time the checkered flag fell, one word was already trending, and that word was stolen. Before we tell you who it was, do you think a teammate beating you fair and square still counts as a betrayal? Drop your answer below, because this one's going to divide the comments. The names are Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs, both driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, both fighting it out at Lowa Speedway. Bell had dominated the afternoon. He led 108 laps, won Stage 2, and kept the number 20 Toyota in control through every long run. It marked his 7th runner-up finish of the 2026 season. Then, with 60 laps to go, everything hinged on a single pit road decision. Adam Stevens, Bell's crew chief, called for 4 tires. Tyler Allen, Gibbs's crew chief, called for 2. At the moment it happened, the decision didn't look spectacular. There was no crash, no radio explosion, just a quiet choice that would end up defining the finish of the race. Inside the garage, teammates and crew members already understood exactly what this meant, and out in the stands, one fan live-streaming the race summed up the mood in 3 words. DPM 30 called it a race where tires lasted forever, and said Bell simply couldn't do shit with 4 fresh tires against Gibbs's worn pair. Would you have taken 2 tires or 4 in that exact spot? Comment your call, we'll read the best ones. The gamble played out fast, and it played out publicly. Gibbs jumped Bell on pit road on lap 290 of 350. By lap 331, Gibbs officially led the race for good. What followed was a 20-lap chase that had everyone on their feet, Bell arcing high through the corners, running the bottom on the straights, crowding the bumper of the number 54, searching for any crack in Gibbs's worn tires. Bell later described the pursuit himself. I could tell that he was slipping and sliding around. He just didn't make a mistake. So P2. If you've been riding with us through every JGR meltdown this season, hit subscribe. We're closing in on our next big subscriber milestone, and we're almost at 1,500 subscribers here on NASCAR Trackline TV. Channels like this only grow because people like you stick around for the full story. So if this breakdown is doing it for you, take a second right now to subscribe. The final margin came down to 0.253 seconds, less than a blink. Tyler Allen explained the 2-tire call directly, saying it was the only thing that was going to get us around him, and that he was hoping the tires would equalize before Bell could complete the pass. 0.253 seconds. That's the gap. Have you ever lost something, a game, a job, a moment, by a margin that small? Tell us in the comments. There's a piece of this story most people missed entirely. Gibbs almost never got the chance to win at all. A blown pit stop after Stage 1 dropped him 25 positions, all the way back to 28th place on the racetrack. For a young driver carrying the name of his grandfather, Joe Gibbs, the entire narrative could have ended right there in the middle of the field. Instead, he clawed his way back through traffic with a patient, methodical drive that went largely unnoticed until the final stage. There is no evidence of favoritism in that recovery. None. But it hasn't stopped fans from asking questions anyway. One longtime viewer, who says he was at Gibbs's Bristol win earlier this season, posted that this ain't the same driver who once wrecked his own teammate at Martinsville, a comment from Deora Wolf that captured how much the perception of Gibbs has shifted across this single season. Does a driver's redemption story change how you feel about him beating your favorite? Or does a win still sting the same either way? Let us know. Stevens' reasoning for the 4-tire call wasn't reckless. It was calculated, built on everything that had already happened that afternoon. Stage 1 and Stage 2 had both been chaos-filled, with a Reddick-Jones wreck, a Larson-Bowman crash, and multiple spins scattered through the field. 4 tires was the safe bet in anticipation of another caution, shortening the final run to the checkered flag. Stevens called it probably a 50-50 call, and admitted afterward, "It's not the one I made, and it didn't work out for me." The caution never came. Stage 3 ran fully green for 131 laps straight, all the way to the finish. A decision that made complete sense on paper became the exact strategy that lost the race on the racetrack. Was this a coaching failure, bad luck, or just NASCAR being NASCAR? Vote in the comments, failure, luck, or racing. Zoom out, and the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. This was Bell's 7th runner-up finish of the season, tying Harry Gant's 1981 record for most second-place finishes without a win in a single season. 4 of those 7 have come in the last 5 races alone. He now carries a 30-race winless streak heading into Richmond. The near misses have piled up with painful detail. Phoenix, where he led 176 laps before losing late. Chicagoland, where he lost to Chase Briscoe. And now Lowa, on a day he led more laps than anyone else on the track. Bell has lost to 3 different JGR teammates this season alone: Gibbs, Briscoe, and, in the broader conversation, measured constantly against Denny Hamlin's championship-level dominance. Bell's own words capture the weight of it best. "It's bad that I can start ranking them," referring to how each second-place finish has started to blur into the next one. Fans have taken to comparing his stretch to some of the most heartbreaking runner-up streaks in the sport's history, with commenters increasingly calling him cursed in threads across the internet. Do you think this is just bad luck catching up with Bell, or is there a deeper problem with how his team calls races? Comment below. This is where the harder question surfaces, one nobody inside JGR wants to say out loud. What does it mean for a 4-car powerhouse organization when the driver with arguably the fastest car on the track keeps losing to his own teammates, race after race? To be clear, there is zero evidence of team orders and zero evidence of favoritism. NASCAR's post-race inspection cleared everything on both cars, but the absence of wrongdoing hasn't stopped the conversation from spreading across every platform. The pressure extends far beyond one driver. Gibbs' win marked Toyota's 14th win of the 2026 season in just 23 races, meaning the stakes inside JGR aren't isolated to Bell alone. They're organizational, and they're mounting. One comment in the race thread captured the exact frustration circulating among fans, writing that another JGR car should have won but lost by taking 2 tires, and adding pointedly that at least this time they only lost to another JGR car. If you were Joe Gibbs Racing, would you ever tell a teammate to hold position? Or is that a line no team should ever cross? Comment yes or no. Bell now heads to Richmond still winless, still carrying the record for most runner-up finishes without a win in modern NASCAR history, still facing a locker room full of teammates who keep finding victory lane before he does. The question hangs over the entire organization heading into the next race. What happens the next time Bell and a teammate are racing for a win, with a caution looming late? Will Stevens make the same tire call again? Will JGR ever have to have the conversation about how these strategy calls get made inside one single team? The final image says more than any explanation ever could. Bell walking away from victory lane again, Gibbs celebrating with the same teammates Bell just lost to, and the scoreboard doing the talking that neither side really wants it to do. If this breakdown kept you hooked, drop a comment with your take on the Stevens call and share it with a fellow NASCAR fan who needs to see it. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.